Hi, I'm Moon, and on today's episode of Spirit Talk, we are discussing the top 5 tarot spreads for beginners. Are you interested in learning? Well, the first and my favorite first way of doing things is pulling one card, a card a day. This is the easiest and most profound way to start out as a tarot reader for yourself. I do this daily with my Mooniverse members. Every day we pull a card to see what that day has to say to us. What's the message we should be focusing in on? What should we be looking for throughout the day? It's best to do it in the morning time. So what this card is going to show me is what I should be paying attention to for my day. And I want to go towards this card, the Ace of Cups. Now, what is the imagery showing me here? It's very unique. It seems like she's harnessing a power from her heart. She's out in the cosmos, and she's wearing the color blue. This card says to me that there's a power there within the heart, and she's possessing this energy, and the energy is connecting to the cosmos. So is this otherworldly? A message from the other side of the world, the other side of heaven, the past the boundary and getting to the heart of the message? And I find myself today doing that with you. This card generally means new connections, especially romantically. But for me, throughout my day, I don't need this card to show me a new connection through love. Just by the imagery and what it's saying to me personally, it's showing that I will possess a loving, centered message that will go past the cosmos, around the world, and be able to touch and help those with this heart-centered message, that I'm possessing a message through the cosmos. The next spread we will go over is the past, present, and future. When you draw these cards, you place them in front of you from left to right. The card on your left, the first card that you draw, is the past position. The second card in the middle is the present position. And the third card on the right is obviously the future position. Now you might be wondering why you would want to know what's going to happen and why this position of the past and future holds such a key aspect in this reading. It's actually quite important when it comes to the complex depth of this reading. The past can tell you what you've been enduring, what you're shaping, how are you shaping your future. So it is very important to understand how it relates to the present. It shows a much larger view of what's going to happen. Now remember, your future is not always set in stone. And I'm going to teach you something right now to prove that. Your whole soul contract is mapped out on your hands. The left being what you could have been doing, and your right being what you are doing. So all these lines here are all the things you didn't choose or decide to choose to learn from. However, the path on your right is showing you that these are the things you are currently learning from and will continue to learn. This is the future part. But again, based off the timelines and the choices you choose, these lines can change. For example, this little dot here didn't show up until after I lost my best friend in ICU. That was never on my palm until that day. There was obviously something that I didn't choose to learn, and I bypassed it. Now, when I cross over, I will have that chance to endure that moment and try to decide if I want to learn from that marking or that path. The next tarot spread that we have is the situation, obstacle, and advice, or outcome. This spread is especially great when you're trying to find a resolution or an outcome to a conflict. The first card you pull for this situation will represent your role in the situation. Then the obstacle card crosses the first card to show what elements are causing the conflict or tension. The final card can be flexible. It reveals a likely outcome, or it can offer advice on how you should act to make the most of this situation. It's sometimes hard to figure out what we should do in these kind of situations, so the tarot definitely comes in handy as a divinity tool to figure out what we should look forward to, or how can the cards help us to make a better decision within a tough situation. The Blessings Challenge and Action spread is very similar to the one we just did before, the Situation, Obstacle, and Advice or Outcome spread. The reason you want to do the Blessings spread is when you're having a tough go at a very frustrating situation and you're trying to find a better way of approaching it. It has a more subtle tone than the Situation, Obstacle, and Advice spread. Just as the past, present, and future layout, you would use the Blessings layout in a similar fashion, from left to right. The card on your left is the Blessings card. This is where your blessings are, where you will find what will help you in this situation. The middle card is the Challenges card. This is what you're up against, the wall to climb, and the problem to solve. And the card on your right is obviously the Action card. This is what action you need to take or not take to address what's coming up for you within this challenge or situation. But it works hand in hand with the Blessings card, and that's what you have to pay close attention to. Our final and last spread is the yes or no, and sometimes maybe. It depends on the situation at hand. This is probably the easiest spread for beginners because you simply pose a question, focus in on that question, and then pull the card to get the final answer, yes or no. This card to me says yes. If I'm going to ask a question today and I need a yes or no or maybe answer, this would be a yes card for me. It's very positive, very action-oriented, and it shows great love. Now, if I asked a question that considers a no, the no would look something like this. This to me shows the outcome might not go in my favor, that I might be somewhat depressed over the answer that I get. That doesn't mean it's a negative outcome, it just means something that I need to learn from. Not all outcomes can be fluffy bunnies and happy puppy dogs and rainbows and butterflies. Sometimes we have to have negative or sad outcomes so that we can better grow as a soul in that learning. So it's not meant to be something negative, but rather something more positive, to teach you something about your soul, to grow in strength and intellect and wisdom. Without the bad, we can't really truly embrace the good or fully understand it. If you constantly were happy, would you really truly appreciate being happy if you were just always happy? If I wanted to figure out an outcome with yes or no, but the card seemed not a yes or no, but seemed more like a maybe, it would look like this. This to me says rest, think about it, take some time. Don't go with a yes, don't go with a no. That this situation, or whatever you're asking about, needs some time and patience first before moving ahead with a yes or no. The yes or no spread is such a great way to practice your intuition and interpreting that spread and understanding the energy of the specific situation that you're asking about. It's such a great way to really practice understanding tarot and taking the time to better understand it.